Another final, another Clásico, another cup gone. And once again, Xabi Alonso couldn't touch the trophy. I don't know about you, but for me, this didn't even feel stolen. We weren't robbed. We didn't collapse last minute. It just felt deserved, and that hurts even more. But you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we lost it, not just that we did.
From the heart of Madrid, where passion meets purpose.
Comes a legacy built by legends and a future written by rising stars.
So, on paper, Alonso barely touched the lineup. Only change was Huijsen coming in for Rudiger. That's it. But the shape? Oh no, the shape got the full chef's kiss of tactical roulette. He flipped it all to a flat 4-4-2. And with that, the whole plan changed. Remember Betis? We controlled the midfield. Remember Atleti? We sat in a low block, gave up the ball, but protected zone 14 like it was gold. Now Barcelona, we gave them everything, the ball and zone 14. You might as well just write, "Welcome to Courtois' house" at the top of the box. And when the match started, I thought, okay, Tchouaméni and Camavinga in the double pivot, as usual. But nope. Tchouaméni dropped deep into the back line. Camavinga and Bellingham were left trying to protect the middle. Carreras, he was glued to Lamine Yamal. I swear, if Yamal went to the bathroom, Carreras was outside the door. Valverde, he was part right winger, part wing back, part oxygen tank. He helped Asensio shut down Rafinha and still pushed up in attack. Up top, Vinícius and Gonzalo Garcia.
But as always with Alonso, the starting shape was just the beginning. Once the game got moving, that 4-4-2 didn't stay put. It twisted, morphed, and shifted depending on the phase, like a Rubik's Cube with no solved side. And yeah, defensively it looked like a 5-3-2, but this wasn't the same bus we parked against Atleti. That one had Tchouaméni at the wheel. This time, it was Camavinga driving, and we were swerving. The back five sat deep. Camavinga dropped into the holding role, taking over for Tchouaméni. Bellingham and Rodrigo tucked into the central line to help close midfield space, with Garcia helping them press. Vinícius took care of the left flank with Carreras, who, by the way, still wouldn't let Yamal breathe. The goal? Defend with numbers, flood the middle, shut down the wings. But you could see it. Players were confused. Who's covering who? Where's the outlet pass? It wasn't the calm, coordinated low block from the Atleti game. And when we did press high, which was what, the first 10 minutes of each half, Rodrigo and Valverde moved up into Barca's half. Vinícius and Garcia pressed around the box. Bellingham hovered behind them. Camavinga tried to hold the middle. Carreras even pushed up just to make sure Yamal couldn't build from the back. It was aggressive in flashes, but not sustainable, and certainly not clean. And then came the build-up phase, that 4-2-2-2 we tried to run. It looked smooth, on paper. Rodrigo and Valverde pushed wide. Camavinga and Bellingham dropped back to help the back four play through pressure. No long balls, just short passes, dribbles, and rhythm control. Tidy, elegant, like a training drill. But then, pressure. One bad touch, one sloppy angle, and boom, it all fell apart. It was too clean, too fragile, like we were trying to build a glass tower in the middle of a storm. Barcelona had control. We had the occasional counter, but in long phases, we were chasing shadows. Then the attack shape, and I still don't know what to call it. 3-2-3-2? Something like that. Felt more like jazz. Rodrigo and Vinícius were both stacked on the left, which, cool, I guess. Garcia alone up top. Valverde was solo on the right. Bellingham and Camavinga floated through the middle like tourists looking for directions. And the back three? They stayed back. Who was the attack? Vinícius. That's it. That's the whole story. Every spark, every run, every breath of danger came from him. He was Real Madrid. And weirdly, it worked. I mean, somehow, we went into halftime tied, 2-2. Despite the chaos, despite giving up the whole midfield, we survived the first 45. Barely, but we did. Viní was dragging us forward. The system had cracks everywhere, but the scoreline held. Then came the second half, and everything fell apart.
It started with Valverde. When I saw Alonso sub him off, I lost it. But later, he said Valverde felt unwell. It makes sense now, because you don't bench Fede unless your hand is forced. So, Alonso had to roll the dice. Let's be fair, he didn't have many great options when Valverde went down. Mastantuono, a pure winger, electric in 1v1s, but defensively, non-existent. Not someone to rely on when you're already getting overrun in midfield. Ceballos? Sure, he brings balance, contributes both ways, but his form's been off, and let's be honest, his stamina wouldn't last in a match like this. Güler? A magician on the ball. He's been training as a deep playmaker, but in big matches, he's still green. When the pressure's up and the space is tight, he struggles to breathe. So, Alonso put his chips on Güler, and he lost. Then, Mbappe came in, still not fully fit, completely isolated, nothing. And then, Vinícius asked to come off. Legs were numb. That was the final nail. Even De Jong's red card? Too late. The match was already gone. But you know what frustrated me the most? Dropping Tchouaméni out of midfield. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Tchouaméni is the anchor of this whole system. He's not Luka Modric, but he's our best shield. He reads danger, he controls tempo. You move him to the backline, you leave zone 14 gift-wrapped for Barca. Camavinga's not that guy, not for the low block. He's energy, not calm. Bellingham? He's intensity, he's goals, but he's not the one to slow the rhythm and hold the shape. So yeah, Alonso gambled, he had no choice, but he lost. And it cost us another final.
I don't know what comes next, but if there's one thing I do know, put Tchouaméni back in midfield. Gamble on someone else in defense, but never give away the heart of the pitch again. This is also the last analysis video I'll ever make about Alonso's tactics, because as of today, he is no longer the coach of Real Madrid. To Xabi Alonso, thank you for everything you gave us, for what you tried, for what you built. It didn't end with a trophy, but you'll always be a legend in this club. We're Madridistas. We fight, we lose, we bleed, but we never stop demanding more. Hasta la próxima. A la Madrid.